Moving on, now it's time for the second panel discussion of the day. The topic is preparing yesterday's teacher to teach today's students for tomorrow. To initiate discussion on the same, I would like to invite on stage our moderator, Ms. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, Director, St. Anandram Jaipuria School, Alambagh Campus, Lucknow. The panelists for this session are Ms. Veena Purwar, Principal, Versatile Scholars, Lucknow; Farina Haider, Principal, Town Hall Public High School, Lucknow; Dr. Maria Ansari, Director, Little Marvi Play School, Malegaon, Maharashtra; Supriya Grover, Director, Superhouse Education Foundation, Kanpur; Sunita Tiwari, State Resource Group Member, UP Basic Education, Lucknow; and Lakshmikant Pandey, Basic Shiksha Adhikari, Lakhimpur Kheri. The stage is getting ready. We'll just need 2 minutes for the same. Can we have Dia on stage, please? Followed by all the panelists.
We've just had a good lunch, and after lunch, this is the first panel. And we've been given that we have to close our session in 15 minutes. So I would request you all to be brief. And I think the way we'll go forward with this is that since we are a lot fast on the panel, so we will not be very repetitive, because I think like when we talk of anything, we'll just not go on talking about the same thing. So to start with, I think it's a very interesting topic that we've got today. And all educators here, we are now really facing this challenge, especially after COVID, because COVID acted as a catalyst, and we all had to, adopt and adapt to technology. So I think that was one very important thing which opened our eyes. And at the same time came NEP 2020, which told us about, getting into a new form of teaching and, totally changing the teaching learning experience, talking about quality education, talking about skill development. And all of this is what we are going to talk about, because it is the teachers who need to be able to deal with these challenges. So I would start with my very first question, which is, what are the skill sets required for our teachers today to be able to teach, the students, the present students, who can become, global future citizens? So I would start with you, sir.
स्किल्स की जहाँ तक बात है, जो हम अपने टीचर्स के, हम अपने गवर्नमेंट टीचर्स की बात करते हैं, तो हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि दे आर ऑलरेडी स्किल्ड. ठीक है, हम उनको ट्रेन करते हैं, केवल उनको मोटिवेट करते हैं, नई ट्रेनिंग जो नई चीज़ें आती हैं उससे उनको रूबरू कराते हैं. और जो एज ए एजुकेशन लीडर जो मैंने देखा है, टीचर्स को हमको उन चीज़ों के दौर से बाहर लाना है जहाँ पर सैलरी रुकती थी, पनिशमेंट होते थे, तरह तरह की चीज़ें होती थी. अब हम इस पे आ गए हैं कि डू व्हाट आई से ट्रांसफॉर्म करना है डू व्हाट आई डू. मुझे करके दिखाना होता है कि यदि मैं ऑफिस में 10 से लेकर के रात के 9 बजे तक बैठ सकता हूं और मेरा टीचर 6 महीने में हमसे पूरी फील्ड से वाकिफ़ हो जाता है और वो दिन रात काम करने को तैयार है. और इसका परिणाम मैंने पाया दीक्षा ऐप में. मैं इस समय पूरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में नंबर 1 पे चल रहा हूँ, केवल मोटिवेशन से.
पांडे जी, थैंक यू. इसमें मैं आपसे और कुछ पूछना चाहूँगी. तो इसमें आपने अभी देखा, ये जो कोविड के दौरान बहुत सारी नई चीज़ें आई थी, तो ऐसे कौन से चीज़ है जो मेन 1-2 पॉइंट्स आप बता सके जहाँ पे आपने देखा कि आपके जो टीचर्स हैं बहुत ही आसानी से इस चीज़ को अडेप्ट कर पाए?
सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि टीचर्स ने जो नई हमारी जो ऑनलाइन सिस्टम आया है उसको अडॉप्ट किया है, सभी टीचर्स ने. और अभी इसके पहले एक डिस्कशन भी हुआ था उसको लेकर के, नई चीज़ों को लेकर, टेक्नोलॉजी को लेकर के. मेरा अपना ये मानना है कि समस्याओं का सॉल्यूशन टेक्नोलॉजी में ही है. उसका हमको कोई मतलब गुलाम नहीं बनना है. लेकिन जो दूर दूर तक लोग फैले हुए हैं, आप देखिए अभी सर ने बताया कि IIT गांधीनगर और खान एकेडमी की क्लासेस से हमारे नेपाल के बॉर्डर के कस्तूरबा की बालिकाएं जुड़ी होती हैं. दैट इज़ पॉसिबल ड्यू टू टेक्नोलॉजी. तो टेक्नोलॉजी जो अडॉप्ट हुई है, टीचर्स ने लिया है, वो बहुत अच्छा रहा है. और उनका रिस्पांस इसको लेकर के ऐसा नहीं है. आप देखिए 2 करोड़ बच्चों का डीबीटी हम टेक्नोलॉजी के बल पे ही कर रहे हैं और अपने टीचर्स के बल पे ही कर रहे हैं।
थैंक यू सर। मैम, आप इसमें और कौन से स्किल्स जोड़ना चाहते हैं?
मैम, हमारे यहाँ जैसे सर बेसिक से हैं, मैं भी बेसिक से हूँ, तो मैं ये कहूँगी कि टीचर्स के अंदर जैसे कोविड के पहले हम लोगों के यहाँ गूगल मीट या ऑनलाइन क्लासेस इन सब का कॉन्सेप्ट मतलब नहीं था, लेकिन हमारे टीचर्स ने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया चैलेंज के तौर पे, क्योंकि हम जहाँ काम करते हैं वो बिल्कुल रूरल एरिया है और उस रूरल एरिया में बच्चों के पास, मम्मी पापा के पास फ़ोन नहीं होते, तो हम लोगों के लिए, सभी के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था कि हम अपनी क्लासेस को कंटिन्यू कैसे करें। तो हमने बहुत तरीके से किया, मतलब बच्चों के जिनके पास होते थे उनको ट्रेस किया, फिर वहाँ जाके हम गए भी, हमने मोहल्ला क्लासेस भी की। तो ये सब चीज़ें टीचर्स जो है मतलब अडॉप्ट किया बेसिक डिपार्टमेंट के टीचर्स ने, और हम लोग काफ़ी आगे निकल गए इन सब चीज़ों से। बहुत मतलब उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोग्रेस हुई, हमने बहुत बच्चों को ऑनलाइन मतलब पढ़ाया भी, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम लोगों ने डेवलप की खुद में।
थैंक यू मैम। अब I'll go to Binny ma'am. If you could tell us, how your teachers are coming up with this new challenge, and what are the skill sets according to you which you feel are most important at this stage?
So, good afternoon everybody. I know it's still not evening. And let's continue with this conversation of still being in good afternoon. Okay, for me, the most important part is the emotional intelligence, because that's where we need to go ahead. Second, if we go ahead, it is communication. जब तक हमारी communication ही नहीं बेहतर होगी, हम अपने बात को कैसे किसी के पास रखेंगे? Then, for the teachers or the leaders, you need to be having problem solving skills, क्योंकि problems are every day बच्चों के साथ, conflict management, other bullying problems and things like this. So how do we have the problem solving skills? And last but not the least, since I'm going very precise, is decision making. हम problems को तो solve करते हैं, but decisions क्या लेना है? Are we taking the right decisions? Are we making the children have faith in us? And are we making the teachers accessible to the students? Because हमने तो generation को पढ़ाना है जो हमारे कल होंगे. So we have to move ahead of them. So that's, I think, being very precise.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I think you gave us a lot of very important points. And I'll go on to Veena, ma'am, if you could add some more important skill sets required.
Very good afternoon. I think when we come to the topic of essential skills and life skills, for me, I think before going to teaching children, effective decision-making, critical thinking, and problem skills, I think the basic skills which we used to learn, that is listening skill, understanding skill, and to know the importance of discipline in life. These are the basic skills which we need to cater to first, rather than moving to these new technological skills where we say that the teacher should be updated, graded. With that, first the basic skills have to be inculcated into the teachers as well as the students, I think.
Thank you, ma'am. Grover, ma'am, if I could request you to... Yes, please, if you could tell us something
Good afternoon,
more.
everybody. What I feel is more than anything else that a teacher needs or a leader needs is an emotional skill. That is very, very important, because as we deal with our day-to-day problems, let's say, or tensions or anxieties, we as teachers have to leave them back home when we come and deal with the children, because I might be in a foul mood and take it out on the child. So this is a very important skill which I feel that we should definitely have.
Thank you, ma'am. And I'll request you, ma'am, if you could tell us anything else which you feel which we've left out till now. Would you like to add any more skill sets to it, ma'am?
The first, good evening, everyone. Already all the speakers have spoken enough, but one skill which we all are missing, that is using up the skills which we have. The basic. Going back to the basic. We all know what all skills are required. First, understand a child and just deliver what is required. And this has to be a tailor-made practices. It couldn't be applied to all in same.
Thank you, ma'am. And as we know, we're all living in the VUCA world. And this is a time where it's so much of unpredictability. Anytime, there is this scare that, maybe the next wave of COVID is going to attack. And like yesterday, all the schools of Lucknow was closed because of the heavy rains. So always there is some challenge or the other that we are facing. And in the future, there would be many more challenges. And also during the lockdown, there have been a lot of problems that, each of us as teachers have faced because of, not having the children present there in front of you. There are good points about, online, but also there it has its, technology also has its, pros and cons. So coming to the point right now for, when we are preparing our teachers who are going to be, looking after these children who will be facing many more challenges. I think our generation, we had our own set of challenges, every generation does. But now when we are talking of SDGs, we're talking of 2030, we're talking of, 21st century skills. And we are talking of employment, and there are so many ways, we see that employment, there's so many jobs which have just ended. And if we talk 10 years hence, these are our students who are going to be looking out for jobs. Will they be able to, come there and, have sustainable livelihoods? So for that, I think we really need to equip our teachers. And now I would like to know, in what way do you think we can equip our teachers so that they can, maybe empower all these students who can take up those challenges? So maybe Vinny ma'am has the mic with her, so we can start with her.
Thank you so much. When I think there was another point which I would like to emphasize on, which was in our panel only, which is the upskilling and reskilling. So when we say upskilling, that is what we had learned, and we need to become better in that. So there were a lot of areas, how you go about with the students, how you deal with the students, and which were like earlier were not there. As I said, another point was like bullying was there. Now earlier, everybody must have seen that clip where there's a child who's been called, and the child says, the teacher says, you have not done your homework, and the child puts his hand forward, and the the principal gives him a few whack, whack, whack. Second day, another principal, and after 10 years, and the child comes again, and the principal says, you have not done your homework. The child puts his hand forward, but winces and puts his hand back. So that's a second. Another 10 years passes, and then the third generation says, okay, likes to dodge that stick and runs away. Now the fourth generation, what we are living in, is that the moment the teacher takes out the stick, the teacher and the student and the parent takes that stick and gives it to the teachers. And you've been seeing this happening everywhere. So what we need to do is that we need to upskill ourselves, because scolding the students, making things, as you said, making students disciplined, making students hardworking, that will never go. But how do we make the students responsible? How do we make them understand what is good for them? That is upskilling. Even I would say IT. IT has been there for years. But now, how do we use it? Because cybercrime is there. How do we know what to do with our mobiles, what to see and what not to see? That's upskilling. But again, as told by you, that there are many skills we have done away with. So those skills we may have, a lot of professions also have gone. But now we need to reassess ourselves and make those necessary changes. And one change which you must have all realized, when you were in school, there were no counselors. There were no psychologists. We never thought कि बच्चे को सिर दर्द भी होता है. We never thought बच्चा का mood off है. We never thought कि आज बच्चे को going through a depression. These are the skills of today, where we need to enhance. The teacher needs to work on it. And I know change is a very big factor. None of us wants to change. We do say, come on, let's change. But how many of us change ourselves? But since we have to teach the next generation, we need to be bettering in our upskilling. So change is what is required, and going ahead with time so that the children have faith in you, because you need to understand them, understand their problems, understand in what needs to be done, and make them prepared for the next century. Thank you so much.
So I'll go on to Veena ma'am. I think ma'am said it very well, and I think what she's talking about is a very learner-centric teaching that we have to do now, and the teachers have to know how to make it learner-centric. They need to be innovative, they need to be creative, they need to, put the fun factor into their classroom. So ma'am, what are the things would you suggest?
Thank you so much. This question is really interesting. As ma'am said, that skills set has changed, right? But as I say, it's very necessary to reskill and upskill ourselves. But what are we reskilling and what are we upskilling? Because the role of a teacher is very important. His emotional status, his mindset, what he thinks, and what life he is going to lead is all in the hand of the teacher, what she displays into the classroom. So the teacher is multitasking, and as she's teaching, she needs to be very sure that what she wants to transfer from herself to the child goes in a proper way. What he takes and what he understands also is very important. So a discipline, as I said, is a key factor which every child or the teacher practices, not only in a body posture, her skills, her voice, and what she needs to bring it to the children. So I am for the upskilling and reskilling, and I wish that every teacher is ready to upskill and ready to learn the new coming sets of skills, and we are able to get it to the teachers, right? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think this is very important because till time we don't do this upskilling and reskilling, we cannot, produce students who can be our future, leaders. And by leaders, I mean in any and every field that, these students go in as leaders. And all these skill sets are what, we need to imbibe in them so that they are able to, have sustainable livelihoods. So, ma'am, I'll go on to Grover, ma'am. And
I feel that not just about children, what about our teachers? Our teachers have to be upgraded. How do we upgrade our teachers? Workshops? Workshops which actually would be to the point. We should not have workshops where, the teachers are looking at the watch and the principal is looking at the watch because she has a lot of work which has to be done. So we should have workshops where we educate, we empower, and we enrich. These are the three things which have to be there in the workshops. And workshops of all subjects, just not English, because we all seem to be focusing only on English. We have sciences, we have social sciences, the stream, there are many, many streams which are there open for students now to, go on to, and it's not just engineering, we have to do engineering, we have to join IITs. There's so many other things. So we have to have a teacher who's empowered. She's empowered, she knows what she's talking about. She's methodical. And apart from being methodical, she also focuses on time management. Time management is something which we don't focus on at all. We feel time to hai hamare paas. But that is something which we all are running out of. Time is very, very important for all of us. So we need to educate, empower, and enrich. That is something very, very important.
Very well said, ma'am. And I think time management is one of the very important parts. So this, whether it is from the side of the leader of the school, it has to be, you have to prioritize, you have to kind of make an entire, like the way we make our planning for the whole year. I think there has to be a plan for continuous kind of, trainings. I think that is a very important thing, as ma'am said, because it has to be an ongoing process. It's just not one training that would do the needful, but it is continuous trainings that have to go on. So I think we need to be well planned, and we need to kind of plan a full year what kind of trainings are required. So thank you. We'll go on to you, ma'am.
Along with the workshops and trainings, there's something which is missing in these days in students is value education. The cultural studies or the culture, they're not rooted with the culture. Somehow we adapted to the Western philosophies, but yes, our own school systems of having the orthodox and the heterodox when we talk about, it is, our Prime Minister is working so much on the yoga. It's not a one-day practice or nowadays. It is just like, it's an age-old thing and we have forgotten somewhere, and that's the reason we are come back with. So it's, again, the roots has to be culturally equipped. children should know about from where we are, then only we could survive. And yes, if the pandemic has worked so well for us to survive, now it's time to get fly. And for that flying, again, the growth of the teachers or the management or the stakeholders will definitely depend upon the growth of the students. And if it's bilingual, like both will goes in the parallel way. Not one is required. Change is required, or reskilling, upskilling for the parents, students, as well as for the teachers.
That's a good point, and I think value education, it starts from the teacher itself, because a teacher is the one who is like, you know, God or the most important person for the students. And the teacher, you know, it's whatever the teacher does, the students copy. So I think that value-based education firstly starts with the teacher. So I think for the teacher, you know, things like yoga, mindfulness, how to, you know, deal with stress and anxiety, how to deal with the challenges. So if the teacher is equipped, I'm sure the teacher can really help the children do the same. So now coming to, from the private schools to the government schools. So I'll go with Sunita ma'am. What would you like to tell us?
प्राइवेट स्कूल और गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के चैलेंजेस में बहुत डिफरेंस है मैम। मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगी कि हमारे जो रूरल एरिया के जो बच्चे हैं जिनके साथ हम काम करते हैं, उनको एक तो ले आना प्लेटफॉर्म पे, और इस पैंडमिक के बाद उनको ले आना हमारे लिए बहुत चैलेंज था। और हालांकि हमारे डिपार्टमेंट में बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें की गई हैं, जैसे ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग्स हैं, और इनके माध्यम से हम जो है बच्चों को ले आए प्लेटफॉर्म पे। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि उनकी जो क्रिएटिविटी है, चूँकि वो ऐसे परिवारों से हैं जहाँ उन्हें कोई गाइडलाइन नहीं मिलती, तो उनकी क्रिएटिविटी को निकालना प्लस उनके साथ काम करना, और उसके बाद जो है उनको उस तरह से बनाना कि वो समाज में अपने को रख सकें आगे के लिए, तो ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है। लेकिन हम लोग कर रहे हैं।
यस मैम, तो किस तरह से आपके टीचर्स को आपने इक्विप करा कि उस चैलेंज से वो लोग मतलब ये सब कर पा रहे हैं?
मैम, सबसे पहले तो हम लोगों ने जैसे ऑनलाइन क्लासेस, पहले तो ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग्स जो अभी भी चल रही हैं टीचर्स की, तो जो भी नीड्स बच्चे की होती है, क्योंकि जब हम फील्ड में काम करते हैं तो बच्चे की नीड्स निकल के आती हैं, उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम लोग एक ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम, वर्कशॉप्स, ये सारी चीज़ें कर रहे हैं। और जैसे प्रोजेक्ट बेस जो हमारे क्लासरूम टीचिंग होती है, उस पर हम इस समय ज़्यादा जोर दे रहे हैं।
थैंक यू मैम। So Pandey sir, if you could tell us a little more, because you've been talking so highly of all the teachers, so please tell us किस तरह से आपने उनको ये तैयारी करी कि वो बच्चों को ये सब चीज़ें जो नए स्किल्स है ये सिखा पा रहे।
मैं इसको ऐसे समराइज़ करूँगा कि हमारी जो ट्रेनिंग है और जो इनकी री स्किल और अप स्किल्स हैं आपकी, ये एक को रिलेटेड हैं एक दूसरे से। ट्रेनिंग होती ही इसीलिए है कि हम उनको अप स्किल्स और री स्किल्स कर सकें टीचर्स को। इसमें दो पार्ट पे हम लोग काम करते हैं। हमारा टीचर है, अगर वो उसका माइंडसेट ऐसा है कि उसकी सैलरी, उसका टाइम टू टाइम प्रमोशन, सब चीज़ें उसकी सही हैं, वो हमारी ड्यूटी है। हमने इवन इतना तक कह रखा है, यदि किसी लेडी टीचर को कोई दिक्कत है वो मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे कर सकती है, और ऐसी दिक्कतें होती हैं जिसके बारे में आप लोगों ने सोचा नहीं होगा, और व्हाट्सएप से ही उसकी समस्या सॉल्व हो जाती है। केवल वो जानती है और हम जानते हैं। और फिर मैं ये मानता हूँ व्यक्तिगत रूप से कि द लेडीज़ आर नेचुरल मदर टीचर फ्रॉम 1 to 8। उनको बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमें सिखाने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं होती है। केवल उनको रिस्क के लिए हो गई मेरे हिसाब से कि उनको ये बताना है कि यू आर हनुमान और यू कैन जंप द सी। ठीक है, आप समुद्र लांघ सकते हैं। और हनुमान जी को थोड़ा सा धनुष बाण भी सिखा देना है कि अगर कोई दिक्कत आए तो इससे भी हम सामना कर लेंगे। दैट इज़ अप स्किलिंग। और ये दो चीज़ें उनको सिर्फ बतानी होती हैं, और वो इतना अच्छा पढ़ाती हैं। पहले मैं स्वयं मानता था अपने विभाग में कि महिलाओं के कारण बहुत सारी दिक्कतें हैं और हमारा विभाग ख़राब हो रहा है। फिर जब क्योंकि मैंने कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं ली है टीचर की, मैं सीधे आया उससे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से, मतलब हम लोग आए। लेकिन जब वहाँ जाके देखा, 5 साल में मैंने देखा, तब मुझे पता चला कि 1 to 8 की कम से कम, और 1 to 5 की जो एजुकेशन है, इसमें तो 100% लेडी टीचर ही होने चाहिए। बच्चे ऐसे देखते हैं, ऐसे सीखते हैं उनसे जिसका कोई जवाब ही नहीं है, मैं बताता हूँ आपको। और वो उनका मुंह देखते रहते हैं कि कब मैम आएंगी और हमको पढ़ाना शुरू करेंगी। और वो भी इस तरह से उनसे जुड़ करके अलग अलग समस्याएं हैं। मतलब एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट की अलग समस्या है, उसकी अलग चीज़ें हैं, उस हिसाब से हमारे टीचर उसको देखते हैं, और अगर हम उनको मोटिवेट करते हैं, तरह तरह की चीज़ों को बताते हैं, वो हर चीज़ को ओवरकम कर लेते हैं, ज़्यादातर लोग, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। धन्यवाद।
Do we still have time or we should wind
We are
up?
running with time. Another 2 minutes and let's.
Okay, so I'll just ask each panelist over here to just sum up in just a few lines. So not more than a minute, not even a minute, just 1 or 2 lines.
The best motivation is self-motivation, and every teacher feels at one point, I should have my own school. I should have my own strategies, I should have my own plans and details all thereof. Believe me, teachers, if you believe in yourself, you'll become. I am just yesterday's teacher, learned up from all the major gurus over here sitting. Many of them, I have just started as a pre-primary teacher, and having the 8 franchises here all over Pan-India, with the preschools, that is called self-motivation, teachers. Nothing can stop you if you're willing to do it.
I personally feel that teachers have to be empowered more than they are at this time. They need guidance, but not in a structured manner. Give them the freedom, they'll give you the world. That's what I have to say.
Today I'm more than happy because this is the first platform where I saw that the children with special needs and their problems and what our government is doing for them was displayed. And being working with them for 20 years, it really made me happy that we are open and we are ready to help these children to find a place in the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For me, there are just 2 points. One is that we believe we should now, the teachers should focus. Learning platforms are there, but teamwork, peer learning is very important in today's time. Secondly, teachers have to be role models. जो भी आप कर रहे हैं, अपने बच्चों को, you have to win them over and become role models. And secondly, when the child says, because teaching and learning, I know IT is very important, but nothing to beat a teacher's skill, because वो आपको सिखाया नहीं जाता, वो आपके अपने skills होते हैं. So उन skills को, you have to understand when student says, ma'am, I do not understand how you are teaching. So the teacher has to say that, can I work according to the way you understand? That's what a teacher is all about. Thank you so much.
मैं ये कहूँगी कि हर बच्चे की साइकोलॉजिकल नीड्स अलग होती हैं, तो एक टीचर होने के नाते हमें हर बच्चे पर ध्यान देना चाहिए और जो भी बच्चे की रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम काम करें और उनकी जो क्रिएटिविटी है वो उनके अंदर से निकाल के ले आएँ.
मैं ही कहूँगा कि जो टीचर हैं वो भविष्य निर्माता कहे जाते हैं और वो केवल एजुकेटर नहीं हैं, वो ओपिनियन मेकर हैं एक तरह से, और पूरा का पूरा पैराडाइम शिफ्ट हो सकता है अगर टीचर उस पर हमारे काम करते हैं और पूरा का पूरा देश, समाज, हमारा परिवार उससे प्रभावित होता है. और टीचर्स को ये सोच के काम करना चाहिए और हम सब लोगों को टीचर्स का मतलब इतना सम्मान करना चाहिए और इतने से ही बहुत सारी चीज़ें बदल जाती हैं और हम लोग इस पर बिल्कुल करके देख रहे हैं, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much. And I think with that, we can clearly see that we are going the right way. And like in the inaugural session where we had our Minister Shri Sandeep Singh and we had Shri Ganguly sir, and they came up with such important points, and had they been here, I think they would have been very proud that we are all going the right way. And I think it's high time we have seen, what way we have to go. And thank you very much for all your suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists, for such an enlightening discussion. I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Aviral Mani Tripathi, Area Manager NTAB, to felicitate our panelists. We begin with MS Veena Purwal, Principal, Versatile Scholars, Lucknow. Keep applauding, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the claps going. MS Farina Haider, Principal, Town Hall Public School, Lucknow. Dr. Maria Ansari, Director, Little Marvi Play School, Malegaon. Binny Singh, Director, Tiny Tots Group of Schools, Ayodhya. Supriya Grover, Director, Superhouse Education Foundation, Kanpur. Sunita Tiwari, State Resource Group Member, UP Basic Education, Lucknow. And Mr. Lakshmikant Pandey, Basic Shiksha Adhikari, Lakhimpur Kheri. Thank you so much, everyone. We can have a group picture with the panelist and the moderator. And please felicitate our moderator, Ms. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, for leading the session with such grace and poise. Ladies and gentlemen, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, Director, St. Anandram Jaipuria School.